What's up, boys? It's Nick from Team Table 501 here. I'm the king of the scrubs, and I'm sorry for the delayed deck profile. I've been slowly getting cards in the mail, and I finally got mostly everything I need. There's one proxy in this deck profile, but it's not super relevant to the deck or anything. The majority of the stuff that's necessary is real. I'll talk about the proxy when I get to it, and what you can replace it with for now. But anyway, by the title of this video, this is my Brilliant Fusion ABC deck profile for the January format, I guess. The ban list really is not going to change much to this deck, to be honest. Like, the only thing you would probably change is the side deck and maybe a few main deck choices, but the core of the deck doesn't change. You're still a going first combo deck that's trying to establish double Buster if possible, or at least establishing like a Link monster, a Buster, and then some ways to either protect your Buster or ways to interrupt your opponent's play other than Buster. So this is sort of a budget deck because even though I have the extra money, I'm not willing to spend it on cards like Ash, Engage, Infinite, and Permanence evenly matched. Those cards are really busted and make this deck way better. I'm just not willing to spend the money because I'm a little bitch. So, as always, there is a link to the deck list in the description of this video, along with my Facebook and my Twitter. Go follow me, add me as a friend. I post cool shit. And I guess without further ado, let's just get into the deck profile. So, like I said, this is my Brilliant ABC list, so obviously you can't play ABC without the pieces, so 3A, 3B, 3C. You can trim down on the Union pieces, but I think having 9 is correct, just because if you have like 2A and 2B, you can only, or 2A and 2C, you can only ever make 2 Buster unless you tag out, unless you can resolve your tag out to make the 3rd. And most of the time your tag out's being hit by Call by the Grave. So I'd rather not run the risk of running less unions to make my deck a little more consistent by playing more combo pieces. Because the unions themselves are kind of bricks, actually. Like, if you draw too many unions, your hand doesn't do anything. But if you don't draw any unions, your hand also doesn't do anything. So it's sort of a catch-22 there. But I like the 9 unions. I haven't found them to be too bad. I'd rather open B than any of the other ones because B lets you search if you're able to get it off the board. But C is probably the best when you're resolving combo turns, because you can just special a bunch of guys out of your hand, because it's not a hard once per turn. So there's the 9 union pieces, and then like the 10th union is Heavy Mech Support. This guy's actually busted. So for those of you who don't know what this does, it's a level 3 light machine union, where when it's normal summon, you can target a union in your grave and special summon it, and then you can equip it to a machine you control, and that machine can't be destroyed by battle. Or if it would be destroyed, you send this to the grave instead. So what you can do during your combo turns is, I like sending this off Brilliant Fusion, because if you have A adds back Mech, Mech gets back A, and you sort of have a little loop going where you can link them off the board, A gets back Mech, and then you can normal summon the Mech to get the A back. So you're constantly just on card advantage. You're not even in your card advantage. And just like you can go like this, bring back C, make a link 2, C, summon a guy, make summon Sork, and then summon Sork your opponent. So yeah, this is also not once per turn, so if you're able to resolve it multiple times per turn, say with a Brilliant Fusion, or with linking it, adding it back, and then summoning it again, you can resolve its effect multiple times. So, yeah. And then I play 2 gold, 2 silver. I don't, like, these are probably the weakest cards in the deck. Like, their ceiling is really high, but their floor is really low. So when they resolve, they're great, but they are by far the easiest things to interrupt in the deck outside of, like, Union Hanger, because they get hit with Valor and Permanence. Even something like just a random, like, Rivalry can stop you. So the floating effect is cool. So, like, if you get in Permanence, you're not going to die, because at least the gadgets replace themselves, but they are by far the weakest starters in the deck. But you have to play them, because if they resolve, they just like go off. Like Gadget plus Hanger is still Gadget plus Hanger is still Saryuja Buster, so that's pretty good. And then I play 2 Photon Thrasher. I wanted additional starter cards that didn't really conflict with any other engines. So it does kind of conflict with Brilliant Fusion, but all you have to do is just special summon your Thrasher and then resolve your Brilliant Fusion. So it doesn't really stop. And you can still go turns where you have like special summon Thrasher, normal summon Gadget, Gadget effect get a Union piece, and then you have 3 monsters on board to make a link. So like, they're starters, and like, even if you draw them after turn 1, they're not the worst thing ever, because they are just kind of big. Like, sometimes you just get like nuked, then you can summon this and just like smack your opponent up real good. So you can replace these with whatever you want too. They're not mandatory by any stretch of the imagination. I just prefer them to add the third copy of each gadget because not only are the gadgets hard once per turn, these it doesn't matter if your opponent has a Veil or Impermanence, you can just drop this on the board. And then the last monster in the main deck is the Garnet for the Brilliant Fusion. No hand traps in the main deck. I'd rather just be a combo deck. Like, I just want all my cards to do something if I draw them. Going first. Garnet's just like, just don't draw this card. For the love of God, don't draw this card. So 17 monsters, onto the spells, 3 Union Hanger and 2 Terraforming, so 5 hangers. This is by far the best card in the deck. You just want to be able to get your unions out of your deck and start your combos. 3 Brilliant Fusion, this card is the nut. If this card resolves, you probably win the game. Like, this card's arguably bannable. Like, this card's so broken. Like, just the fact that it essentially... It gives you a monster for link summoning, it gives you 2 normal summons, and it lets you send any light in your deck to the grave. And 16 of your 17 monsters are light, so you can do some pretty dumb things. Oh yeah, Brilliant plus Hanger is disgusting, depending on how you want to approach the combo and if your opponent has interruptions or not. 3 Call by the Grave, this card should have been banned, honestly. Like, even though this deck is bad... Like, just the fact that my combo deck can have ways to stop my opponent's interruptions is kind of stupid. Like, the whole point of a combo deck is that you're trying to go off before your opponent can interrupt you, but when your opponent interrupts you, you're supposed to lose. And the fact that you can just be like, nah, you don't get an Ogre or a Droll or an Ash or whatever, and you can just kill them is really stupid. And just, like, even if you go first and you don't get hand trapped, you can, like, make your board and then just set this. And then just, like, when they try to use a graveyard effect, you're like, nah, fam. So, but yeah, this card's really dumb. Double Desires. You probably don't have to play this card, but I like resolving it in my deck because most of the time, after you combo, you just need more pieces so that you don't, so that when your board gets broken, because it will, because the only thing you're ending on is a 3,000 monster that can banish 1 card on your opponent's board. So you're going to need ways to rebuild after the Buster gets dealt with. Or say, like, you try to get cute and tag out the Buster and you get hit with Call by the Grave, you need to have a way to recoup your resources. 2 Twin Twister in the main deck. I wanted to make room for 3, but I couldn't really find room. But this is just to help with Floodgates and Sky Striker, because it's by far one of your worst matchups because they have Widow Anchor in their deck. So, if you summon a gadget and it gets Widow Anchored, you probably just lose the game. And I'd rather not just lose the game. 2 World Legacy Succession. You could arguably play 1 of this card, but I like having 2 in my deck because I want to be able to draw this card. And I like resolving it too. Like, even though it's a once per turn, like, just having the second one in hand is nice because you're gonna revive a dude, and then the next turn you can revive another dude. So I just really like this card for the fact that you can successfully make a Buster, tag it out, and then you can reborn the Buster, and then you can just, like, kill your opponent. So this card's really good. And then for the one of 39 is better than 40. Reborn. Soul Charge is the most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Change my mind. This card is unfair. This card really needs to be banned. Why has this card been at 1 for so long? Konami, please, do your fucking job and ban this card. And this is just my little tech, I guess, is Hornet Drones. So obviously I'm not playing Engages because I don't feel like spending the money on them. But even though I'm not playing Engages, you can still actually just play this card. Because sometimes you just draw it, and you just, like, combo your opponent. Like, there still is that combo that I showed a few months ago, just a different iteration of it now because now I have the Brilliant Fusion. But you can still, like, this plus Hanger is still Decode Buster. So, like, you can still just draw this card and combo your opponent. Worst comes to worst, it's a card you side out in games 2 and 3. But you can still just, like, draw it and resolve it and, like, do Hornet Drones things. So, yeah, you can play this card without Engage, but the fact that it's at 1, it just makes it really sacky. Because, like, sometimes you top deck it and you can, like, +2. Other times, like, you draw it mid-combo and it's a brick. That's it for the spells. I think it's 21 spells. And then I play 2 traps, Imperial Order, and Skill Drain. These cards don't really do anything against your deck because once you've set up a Buster, most of the time these cards just say win the game. Like, Buster plus Order is just game against 80% of the metagame. And Skill Drain plus Buster is good against the other 20%. So you flip one of these cards with a Buster, you probably win. The game is just over at that point. If you flip these too early, you can hurt yourself because Skill Drain is going to negate the effect of your gadgets when you summon them, and Order is going to negate your stuff like Brilliant Fusion, Pot of Desires, Union Hanger. You need to remember stuff like that. Buster cannot banish your own cards, so you can't just remove your own Imperial Order so that you can activate your spells. No, it's sticking around. that does it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Obviously, you can change stuff around if you want. You can add going second cards to the deck. You can play hand traps. You don't even have to play Brilliant Fusion. I've seen people play the Symphonic Warrior engine. I don't like that engine because even though Ghost Ogre is seeing no play right now, I don't want my scale getting Ghost Ogre and then I'm not able to do anything. Or just like Gear Gang gets Veilored and you just lose. Whereas at least if you have Brilliant Fusion, it doesn't matter if Seraph Knight gets Veilored. You're still just going to make a bunch of value. Batman, obviously. For the extra deck, 1 Seraph Knight. For the Brilliant Fusion, 3 Buster, the win condition of the deck. This card is nuts. If you ever resolve the tag out effect, you should just win the game off of principle, and if you don't, well then you're just a disgrace, honestly. I'm playing 1 rank 4 in Tsukiyomi. Again, I'm just trying to be an all-in combo deck, so I'd much rather just see more of my deck, even though I think Exciton Knight's the better card. Like, I tried Exciton, I tried Dweller, I tried all sorts of number rank 4s. I think I'd rather just be a combo deck, because, like, even if I go, like, Thrash or Gadget, get in permanence, I can just make this, pitch my hand, draw 2 cards, and I can potentially go from there. Then the Kagari for the Hornet Drones. Reproductus for the Summon Sort combo. Underclock Taker to help you beat over beefier stuff. Proxy Dragon for more immunity. Hippo Shinigami when you're pushing for damage, and this floats. So if you get interrupted through your combo, sometimes you can just like end on Hip and like 2 unions, and then you have a bunch of floating on the board. Cleave for Genius to help you out problematic cards as well, because people forget that this guy has an effect where you can target a card on each player's field and negate that card's effects for as long as Genius is on the board. So you're able to out problematic spells like Secret Village, Anti-Spell, Imperial Order, stuff like that, so that you can actually like play the game. This is my 1 proxy I was talking about. It's Nightmare Phoenix. I just apparently don't own a copy of this card. I thought I did. Turns out I don't, so... but Nightmare Phoenix is very good because it helps you out problematic back row and you can co-link it to draw a card. You don't have to play this card because there are Twin Twisters in the main deck, but I highly recommend playing this card. But if you don't want to, you can play stuff like Landfoe. You can play... I've seen some people play Clara and Rushka because apparently there's a 2-card combo. Or if you play Clara, just Hanger makes Buster. So you can do that if you want, but I'm not really a fan of that combo. I'd rather just have the Nightmare Phoenix on my extra deck for the utility. For the Link 3s, Decode. Summon Sork for the love of God, ban this fucking card. And then Saryuja. This card is fucking stupid. If you can resolve both of these cards in the same turn, you can probably win the game, or at least end on like a dumb board. I think the best board I've ever ended on was Saryuja, Proxy Dragon, Double Buster, and like a B equipped to one of the Busters against Sky Striker, and my opponent just lost. Like, it was just kind of unfair. Like, you can still end on really crazy boards with this deck. And even if you don't end on a super crazy board, like, again, sometimes you end on, like, a Decode, a Buster, and a Call by the Grave, and that's good enough. Is it usually? No. But there are going to be some games where your opponent doesn't have a strong draw, or, like, they just can't out the Buster, and then you just win. So, that's it for the extra deck. On to the side deck. Triple Gamma Seal for the Striker matchup. Also, just for, like, problematic things, like Borreload. Also helps you out like Prank Kids, because then they can't float. Double Mind Control for the Thunder Dragon matchup. Also for Sky Striker, because you can take their Link, make a Kagari, and then do your plays that way. Because Kagari is a machine, so you can go like Kagari Gadget, and even if you get hit with like a Widow Anchor, you can still just make Cleave for Genius. So, 3 Herald of the Abyss for Rongo. Like, that deck's probably going to get hit, but... This is what I was referring to when I said the deck kind of changes, only in card choices. Like, if Rongo gets hit, this card will not be in my side deck. That's a fact. Like, I'm only playing this card because I don't want to lose to a 6-material Rongo. Like, I would like to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I spent money, I went out of my way, I decided to play a shitty card game. I want to at least enjoy myself playing this shitty card game. I don't want you just making a damn Floodgate and then me losing the game because of it. 3 Book of Eclipse for T-Dragon and for other rogue decks. 3 Gozen for Rongo if you're going first. You can just flip this card against Rongo and win. And I know I'm kind of being a hypocrite here, but you have to accept what the metagame is and then just deal with it. Like, if you're going to try to ruin my day, I'm going to ruin your day too, so... And it's like this card's good against other decks too. And then Judgment. I usually side this thing if I'm going first over the skill drain so that I can out stuff like Evenly Match and Twin Twisters, so... And that's going to do it for my Brilliant ABC deck profile. This deck is a ton of fun. It's relatively budget outside of the Brilliant Fusions, actually. I didn't spend a lot of money to finish this deck. I think I spent like $50 if you don't include the Brilliant Fusions. If you include the Brilliant Fusions, I only spent $85 on this deck. But I mean, this deck is just super fun. You can add on super crazy boards, and Buster is just one of the most broken fusions, arguably the most broken fusion ever printed. So you get to play with that card, which is pretty sweet. And like all your guys aren't hard once per turn, so you can just keep going. You can just keep resolving multiple effects per turn. So that's gonna do it for now. If you need, if you guys want a combo video, let me know. I'm still actually working out all the combos myself because I just haven't played the deck in a long time. But there are some pretty basic 2- and 3-card combos I can show you guys that just you should know how to do. And then the more complicated combos, I'll probably just do an entire another video on anyways, just so that you guys can get some rulings and some interactions so that you don't get like got by some stupid card. So anyway, that's going to do it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what you would change. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit. Go follow me on social media. Thanks again for watching. My name is Nick from Team Triple 501, and get good, scrubs. I'll see you next time.